Welcome, Jeff. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, no. Thank you for coming. I'm just looking at the comments here. I'll check the comments in a while, guys, because don't want to be distracted looking down at the comments. I want to talk to Jeff. And I'd met Jeff, when was it? November
November
18th?
the 18th. Yeah.
18th. Yeah, I'd gone. I had a friend of mine by the name of Ralph, who's in a cover band for Rush called Chronicles, a Toronto cover band called Chronicles, who are
Yeah.
getting themselves back out there on the road, I guess you could say, after pandemic wise.
Oh,
And he'd messaged me to say, I'm going to be playing out in Oshawa if you want to come check me out. I know Ralph from the mid '90s. He used to be one of my neighbors. We used to live in the same condo building, and we got to know each other as neighbors, and that's how I knew him. And we've
right.
been friends ever since. So
Oh,
he
okay.
invited me out to see him play, and said he was opening for a new band,
Yeah.
a band by the name of Visions of Morpheus. Where is it here? Visions of Morpheus. So I said, sure, I'll come check you out. And they put on a great show. And then Visions of Morpheus came out and blew me away. So I was thoroughly, thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
And it was a launch party for your debut album, which should be right here in front of me. There it is. There it goes, guys, on CD right there.
Yes.
Lost Within runs a running time of about an hour, and absolutely brilliant progressive metal.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Yeah,
we want
that
to
was a
talk to
very busy
Jeff
day
and find out.
on that.
We want to talk to Jeff now and find out all about Visions of Morpheus, how they started, Jeff's roots in music. We want to go back to the beginning, and I'm just going to ask Jeff to tell us how he got into music, what he was doing before Visions of Morpheus, what inspired Visions of Morpheus. Let's just take me back to the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I think I started out as a single cell, and oh, you don't want to go that far back, right? Okay.
Go
So
back as far as you want.
back
As far as
to
you
the
want,
age
go
of the
back.
dinosaur. Feels like the age of the dinosaur. I hate admitting my age, but anyways, yeah. I mean, I had been into music and stuff for as long as I can remember. Musical family. So my dad played guitar, mom played multiple instruments. Brother played guitar. That was probably where my sort of biggest inspiration came from. Though I was listening to like classical and everything else in between. I mean, I went through my classical, and I went through like the death metal phase, and then I went through the 80s stuff, and just kind of whatever. But yeah,
Favorite band? You have a favorite
sorry.
band?
Yeah. So basically, I started playing in high school. Started playing guitar in high school. So then, you know, me and a few friends, we would jam and stuff like that. I think did that for a number of years, and then started to really, I took a few guitar lessons, but then I wasn't really getting what I wanted. I mean, I grew up in a small town, St. Mary's, right? So your
Mm-hmm.
options are kind of limited. I think I sort of wanted, well, definitely wanted more of the rock and the metal, and I was kind of just getting lessons on here. Let's play this top 40 stuff, and I wasn't really feeling it. So I think I quit after a few lessons, and I've just been self-taught ever since. I'm kind of aware that I have some bad habits, but anyways, I digress.
But I think a lot of people are like that. I mean, when I took guitar lessons for a very short period of time, and then I self-taught. So, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of musicians are like that. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
just start jamming along to your favorite albums and whatnot, and you figure it out.
Yeah. I had like no idea how to even like create a proper bar chord when I was starting out. It's like, I'm playing with like one note. Can't really see what I'm doing. Playing with like one note on the fretboard, and it's like, what they're doing sounds different. I wonder what they're doing. Right? This is way back before the internet. Um, so, anyways, yeah. Eventually, I picked up like some of that Hal Leonard stuff, Metal Method, and all that sort of thing. Right? Started to make some progress with that, and sort of driving my parents crazy. And they would just kind of, mom was always the one who was just saying, play a tune, play a tune. So I was just practicing like scales and everything else, and just trying to build up speed and accuracy and everything. So it was really just kind of probably took me a lot longer to get where I wanted to go, unfortunately, but I really do like the path of being self-taught.
Mm.
It's been the same with vocals and that as well. But then I went to so I'd started to do some demos and whatnot of just my own stuff, and had like a four track recorder. I really do
Tape.
sound like
So
when I
you were using tape back then.
yeah, cassette, right? So you get 2 tracks on one side, 2 tracks on the other side. So I'd worked on a bunch of that stuff, and then got an interest in saying I want to go to do something with school and with music. So I went to London for the Ontario Institute of Audio Recording Technology. It's a bit of a mouthful there. I think it's OIART for short.
Mm-hmm.
School is still going. It was actually, I think they'd only been open for about 3 years when I went, because it was back in 89, 90.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, we were still doing like exercises with like tape, like, 24-track tape, doing edits with a razor blade and everything. And it was like, oh, you got to know this stuff. You got to know this stuff. But it's like, yeah, I'm not sure. And the computer MIDI recording was just kind of getting started. So it was
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a very different animal, and you had to, you know, do stuff right off the floor in as few takes as possible. So it was really interesting learning experience, that's for sure. But
I
after
noticed
that,
in the chat here that I gather other members of the band are here right now watching.
they are, yeah,
Tyler, I take it Tyler is drummer for you.
yeah, he is.
And how do you pronounce it? Is it Javish?
Javish,
Javish
Javish.
is a guitarist. So maybe if they want at some point, they're welcome to come up on camera too if they're digging
Yeah,
it,
that'd
because
be great.
I can have up to 6 people on camera at the same time.
Okay, yeah,
So if they
nice.
want to come up and join the conversation, we'll talk with Jeff for a few minutes. And if they're interesting, you guys are welcome to come up. I'll put the link out again, and you just have to do exactly like Jeff is. Click on the link. It'll tell you what to do. It's pretty easy, right, Jeff? And
Yeah,
you guys can all be in. We can talk to everybody. But I'll start off with talking to Jeff first, because I gather are you the mastermind, I guess, the leader,
pretty
or is
much.
it a mutual collaboration, or?
Um, yeah, it's pretty much just been me doing all the writing. I did. I know I've kind of left a few things out in my history here. So I did in 2010. I released kind of my own instrumental album, and
Under your name now, under the name you have now? Like,
it was
not
just
under,
self-titled.
so
Yeah,
under
so
Jeff.
just under Jeff Pearson. Yeah, and that. So it was really, I'd kind of been out of the recording school thing for a long time, and then it was really it took me many years to try and get things kind of put down how I wanted them, because you get back into doing the recording and everything was all computer based. So instead of having physical hardware, then you got all your software and all that stuff to figure out. And like I say, it's like a muscle that if you don't sort of keep using it, then you start to
Mhm.
forget it.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of learning curve involved with that. And there's some good stuff, some bad stuff. There was one song from that I kept, that I released for this album, redid it, and that was Power of Seven. So that was actually the very first song that I'd ever written in a different time signature other
Now,
than four.
is that from the instrumental album that you did? So
Yeah,
you decided to make it a full vocal song.
yeah, it was proggy enough. No, that's actually stayed an instrumental, so there are no vocals on that. That's the Power of Seven track.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So then, yeah, so there was kind of just, I've been in some other cover bands over the years. I was in a band called Big Bang. They're reforming now with kind of a totally different lineup. And then I was in another band called Live from Limbo, just doing covers. And then I'm in Recovery Mode, the band. So we do covers around the GTA and stuff like that. I'm not the vocalist in that. I'm just on guitar. I do sing some, but
Hmm.
I'm also in an acoustic duo called Jelly with myself and the singer from Recovery Mode. So those have been some of the projects that I've done. And
So
then
is music your full-time job gig, or you do other something else?
no, no, I'm a webmaster full time. I was self-employed doing web design for probably about, I don't know, I think it was around 24 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just went to work with one of my biggest clients, and yeah, it's been great. It's still weird because money just comes in every 2 weeks, and it's like, oh, I don't have to, like constantly be on the hustle and trying to chase people down and try and get that regular income. So yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to do music full time, but
Do you
um,
think do you hope to be able to progress? Obviously, you hope to be able to progress Visions of Morpheus to be a full-time gig. I would take it.
yeah, the music industry is a real, it's a tricky animal these days, and things are
Yeah, it's a
changing
bitch.
so fast.
It's a bitch.
Yeah, just yeah, exactly, right. So for
But
me,
I,
it's still at the hobby point, right? But it's an incredibly passionate hobby. I mean, I think about when I'm not working, or even when I am working, I do think about the band and what I want to do and where I want to take it, and stuff like that, right? So
but the good thing is, with this age of the internet and whatnot, and things like Bandcamp, it's a lot easier for independent artists to get their music out there in the world.
it
Uh,
is for sure,
and you
absolutely.
don't necessarily need a record label backing you if you're successful
Right.
enough to generate a decent income doing it. Certainly, like I said, Bandcamp and whatnot. My channel is in the vinyl, what's called the vinyl community here on YouTube, where we talk about bands and mainly vinyl records,
Yeah.
because of course the vinyl resurgence is bigger and better than it ever was now, and
Mhm.
everybody's buying vinyl and whatnot.
Yeah.
So at least that's why I wanted to get you on, because I got a decent channel. It's doing well for myself, and at least gets you got out there. Hopefully, get you some exposure in the
Yeah.
vinyl community, which is made up of music lovers,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Exactly.
spread the word. I have a couple other artists that I promote as well. Project Gemini. If you don't know him, check him out. He's a one
Okay.
man band.
Yeah.
He's got, I think, 6, 7 albums out now. He releases them all on vinyl. Um,
Okay.
check him out. I've got lots of videos about him. He's out of Brampton,
Okay.
and he's progressive metal as well.
Hmm.
So, and he puts everything out on vinyl. And I was actually thinking that maybe I should hook you guys up together in some respect, because I would love to see this album right here on vinyl. And I
Yes.
and I think I could probably promote this enough on YouTube to sell enough of your vinyl. Mark does 100 copies of his albums on vinyl, and he sells them all easy.
Okay. Nice.
So I could put you in touch with Mark, who
Yeah, for sure.
because he does things. He knows the people at Lacquer Channel, who of course are a big record cutting label here in Toronto. They've cut records for the last 50 years for
Yeah.
everybody under the sun. So Lacquer Channel would make the lacquers, and then he presses his records at Train Records, which are out of Toronto, and they're beautiful pressings.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
So
familiar.
certainly, if you were considering wanting to get this onto vinyl, he could help you in that respect, because he knows everybody at Train Records, at Lacquer
Yeah.
Channel. He even has his own. He even has his own label. Um,
Nice.
he could his own little label. He could even put you on his label. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
want me to talk to Mark, I will. I'll
For
mention
sure. Yeah.
go check you guys out, and I'll hook him up with your. He can maybe help you if you're interested in getting out on vinyl. He can help you out with that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We can look at that for sure. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good.
So getting back to Visions of Morpheus, when did that first idea come to your head to create Visions of Morpheus? Where did the name come from, etc.?
Yeah. It was probably just over 2.5 years ago. So, I kind of just sort of felt the need to get back into to creating something, because I've always been creative all my life. I mean, that's kind of what drove me into web design at first as well. And so, but I wasn't really sure, what, what kind of format it was going to take, what it was going to sound like whatsoever. So I kind of just started out with okay, I bought a 7 string. Okay, let's learn how to play a 7 string properly and get used to that. And it's still a little bit of a struggle sometimes when you get around that. When you kind of expect the third and the fourth string, and they're a little bit lower where you think they're going to be. Anyways, but just kind of getting that stuff figured out. And then I had heard my voice. There were certain things I didn't really like about it, but I thought, okay, maybe I'll buy like a decent microphone and see where that goes. And yeah, and then just kind of started laying down ideas.
Because you've been working on this album for a couple of years, from what I understand, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. And rewrites right up to the bitter end. Even when the mixing is happening, I'm still changing things. And I am famous. You'll ask my bandmates, and they will agree wholeheartedly. I'm always changing things, rewriting lyrics. We come out to band practice like, oh, I've got this new section. Oh, no, I changed this because I didn't like how it sounded now. And they're like, oh my God. So they're ready to kill me, right? So this show that we played for the album release, this is the first show that we played in a year, pretty much a year. So, and then we had a new guitarist coming in. So we had a lot of things to
Is
work
that
out.
new guitarist here with us today?
Javish, yeah.
He's here with us today. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we'll get you other guys up on screen in a little bit, so we can have the rest of the band up here and talk about the future.
Yeah.
So Visions of Morpheus comes from where? The name. Where did you come up with the name?
I kind of liked. I mean, some people think when they hear Morpheus, they just think of the Matrix, and it's like, well, not really. That's not where we're taking it from. It's the ancient Greek god of dreams. So, because I wanted something, I didn't want to lock myself into one particular thing. Like, you dress up as a Viking or a pirate or whatever, and you're seems like you're
like
always
Visions of Atlantis, who dress up as pirates. Visions of Atlantis.
Right? Yeah. I was so PO'd, right? It's like, I think I have a pretty unique name, man. Yeah, and then I find this band, Visions of Atlantis. Are you kidding me?
And they're a fantastic band. I love Visions
They
of Atlantis.
are. They're amazing.
I saw them in September with Delane in downtown Toronto, and they were killer.
Yeah, and I'm not dissing any of those other genres, but I just wanted to be able to kind of not be locked in, because again, I even see, like other bands or other band names, and they're very, it's like, okay, well, if you choose that name, you're kind of expected to be a certain genre, and you always have to. And usually after about 2 or 3 albums, you'll kind of burn out of that, and you'll kind of want to start exploring something else, right? So I wanted just something that's had that kind of amorphous, always changing. You're getting constant inspiration. Everybody has different, dreams, and it's not just dreams. We focus a lot on the darker stuff, because that's where the interesting ideas are, and the more interesting lyrics and stuff. And I've never been a really big lyric writer, so that's probably where I struggle the most, is just writing the lyrics, and that's where a lot of the rewrites will come from. But as you grow and as you keep doing this stuff, you start to get familiar and say, okay, well, here's where I was. But that was the other thing, right? Since I took a few years to write this, you kind of you're starting off writing some stuff that sounds good, but then as you proceed with the recording, it's like, oh, this needs a little more something else, and now I know how to do this, or you're kind of you're growing as you're writing. So it was a struggle just to sort of keep the rewrites to a minimum, because you can go too far with all this stuff. You can rewrite yourself into a song that's completely unlistenable and just a bunch of nonsense. And that was
in the process of writing this album and producing this album, was it only you, or when did the other band members come into the process? Did they come into the process? Did you write all the music, write all the lyrics?
Yeah, I wrote all the music and the lyrics. I did give the guys, it's like, if you have an idea for this part, what to do here, but I don't really know drums so well. Like I can and I can't. So there's certain things I have limitations on with the drums. I'll get kind of a general idea, but I totally said to Tyler, it's like, just do what you want. I have stick to these sort of grooves that I've kind of established because I kind of like how that feels overall. But I gave him pretty open reins just to do whatever because that's my weak spot.
Hmm.
Um, Javish wasn't on this album. Just when he joined us, we had already, been sending everything for mixing and all that sort of thing, and all the solos had been done. And it's basically it was just easier for me to because I hear things a certain way, and I kind of just I got into a sort of a flow with doing all that. So it's like, okay, here's kind of what I'm presenting. And like I say, there was a few tweaks that I know Gunnar had did on the bass for some other parts. It's like, yeah, that sounds really cool. Let's incorporate that. I think for the next album, we'd like to, you know, probably get a little bit more input and do the writing a little bit different. I'm thinking. I've already started on writing that stuff, but I mean, I got a backlog on everything else I'm supposed to be doing. We just shot a couple of music videos
Hmm.
a few weeks ago, so I've got the editing mostly done for that. And then I have to. We're going to do another shoot for Watch the World Burn. I think that's probably going to be in January because I'm hoping to do that before our other guitar player's baby comes. He's physically not having the baby himself, but I think his wife
Yeah, I
is.
hope not.
Yeah, right. He's not showing at all. So I think if we can try and get that sort of in the pipeline, and then because he's going to have a bit of a speed bump there for a while, just getting used to the
Yeah, getting used to
his
being
new
dad.
realities in life,
So,
and yeah.
so it was you created Visions of Morpheus. It was your when did the other members of the band come into the band and it actually became a band?
Yeah, I guess it was probably if I think I started in like February of 2021, and then I think once I started to get some decent material a few months later, then it was like, okay, I'm gonna think about putting the feelers out, see if I can get
Yeah,
a
exactly. I was going to
drummer.
say, where did you find the other members of the band as well?
Yeah, it was a mix of Kijiji and band mix. So I've had far better luck on Kijiji, and I know band mix. There doesn't seem to be
I
a whole
never
lot.
thought of shopping on Kijiji for bandmates.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that was a thing on Kijiji.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that's I like our original drummer, he came from there, but Tyler came from band mix. So he was the only good thing that came out of band mix for me.
And all the members of the band live in the GTA area.
Except for well, yeah, except for Tyler, he's kind of more towards Peterborough.
Hmm.
So, he's got a little bit of a hike coming in for practice and stuff like that. But I mean, Gunnar, he's in recovery mode with me, the band.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The band.
And so that was kind of it was very convenient. And I knew he was a good player, and so I sent him some stuff. And it's like, oh, what do you think about playing this sort of thing? He's like, well, let me work with it for a while and see what I can do and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he's risen to the occasion, and he's done very well. But I'm proud of everybody in the band. They've really stuck with me. But yeah, like I
So
say,
the members of the band that are on this first CD are you,
Tyler,
Tyler, is it? Gunner,
and Gunnar. Yeah,
the three of you.
yeah,
Which I think there's a photo of you guys on the back, isn't there? Yes, there is. Three of you
yeah,
guys.
yeah. So it may
So
be
how did the fourth
confusing.
member come along? Where did he come from? The next guy,
Yeah,
Javish.
we've always had two guitar players, but because there's no way I can sing and play this stuff at the same time. So we've had a few guitarist changes over the years. We had one guy, Alan Henrique. Uh, he was our first guitar player, and then he moved away. And then we had somebody else with us for a while, Brendan Rogers, and then Alan came back. He was there for some of the recording and stuff. He then sort of decided that the music he just had to sort of put his music career on hiatus. But we still kept one of his solos on the album.
Mhm.
So He's basically the second solo on the song Ghost.
Okay. Okay.
That's his
I love
solo.
that
And
song.
then
That's such a great song. I love that song.
yeah, and then so even the guy who recorded the drums for the album. So we did all the recording and stuff at home for everything else except for the drums. So we did go into a studio in Whitby called Ultrasonico Studios, and that's run by a guy that I'm blanking on his name for, and he's gonna kill me. Juan Coronado. Sorry, it was a deer in the headlights there. What's his name? Juan Coronado. So he is a very accomplished guitar player in his own right. Like he kicks my ass. He is so good, and he's also a drummer. But anyway, so I was trying to convince him to come into the band, but it just again he's got too much on the go, and it was just kind of more of the time schedule wasn't going to line up. But anyway, so he recorded the drums, and we took I guess a few months kind of going in on weekends and getting that underway, and then we took the rest of the time. It took longer because I was doing all the keyboard stuff and the guitars and the vocals. I had to build a vocal booth, which ended up I started trying to do something on I saw on this one YouTube channel with all this piping and draping, these blankets and stuff over it, but it wasn't really working. So then I just did the whole closet thing, and I've heard,
Exactly. I was about to say the closet thing. There's another artist,
yeah,
symphonic metal artist, Lee, who's out of British Columbia. She's an independent artist here in Canada,
yeah,
spectacular artist. And she basically did that. She took a closet in her house,
yeah,
put a lot of draperies in it to absorb the sound and whatnot,
yeah,
locks herself in her closet with her microphone to record her vocals.
yes, yeah, I know, yeah, that's the little sweat hut. It gets
But
pretty
it
warm
works.
in
It
there.
works. What the heck? It works. Better
Yeah,
than
yeah,
renting,
exactly. I think,
spending big money renting studio space, right?
oh yeah, like, because it can be like $60 an hour, and it's
Yeah,
like I want to take
home
my time.
studios now, home recording is a thing now. Everybody does it,
Yeah.
even the big artists.
Oh yeah,
Especially during like the pandemic. So many artists, big artists, produced albums over the pandemic
I know.
and that
Yeah,
they recorded at home. They were each it was in their own country. And they
yeah,
whatever the Rolling Stones did it, everybody did it. They
I know.
recorded at home,
Yeah.
sent their stuff off, emailed their stuff to everybody to have mixed and produced a lot of music over the pandemic.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. And I know some people probably don't care for it. There's still a bit of a split, but I didn't use like a physical amp and stuff because I'm in an apartment, and when creativity strikes, it could be 2 a.m. and I'm not gonna. There's just no way, right, that I can just
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm gonna mic up my amp and crank the shit out of it so so you can get a good tone. So the vocal booth was much easier because you're in a closet with sound dampening and you don't hear the noises and everything else, right?
Mhm.
Nowhere
Yeah,
near
well,
as
like my friend Mark Anthony K from Project Gemini, he's a one man gut deal,
yeah,
and he plays all his guitars, the basses, the keyboards, and
yeah,
he has a program like his drums are all digitally programmed drum
yeah,
machines and whatnot that he does, and he mixes it all himself, he masters it all himself. Well,
yeah.
one man
I-
show.
Yeah, well, that's quite a talent. I know, I recognize that I've been out of it long enough that I don't really want to spend even more time trying to figure out a good mix. So it's like, you know what? I'm by the end of the recording, I was pretty burnt out, and I had to just give it to somebody else and
I was
tell
gonna
them
say,
I'll
so
mix it.
yeah, so you guys all recorded your parts for the album.
Yeah,
Um, And then you said, so who did the mixing for the album then? Where did you send it to be mixed? Who did the mixing?
yeah. It was Rich Gray of Gray Matter. I think it's Gray Matter Audio over in the UK.
Ah, okay.
He's the bass player for I think it's Aeon Zen. If I'm saying that right, and Annihilator.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how did you hook up with him? How did you find those guys to
yeah.
do the mixing?
I had been looking for quite a while online to try and find somebody. You got to get the right price point and the right amount of talent. So it was actually a recommendation from my friend Marty Midgard um, with the Midgard Project, which is absolutely killer band as well. Well, they don't really play out. They just basically did. They just do like studio albums and things like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a phenomenal project. Same with the artist. I kind of copied his homework as far as that goes. He was using the Remedy art design guy over in I think he's over in Greece.
Yeah, I love this. I love this album cover. Who came up with the album cover?
Yeah, I he did. The way that Remedy works is that you give him the songs, lyrics, and an overall approach, but he doesn't like too many constraints because his creativity is best when he's not really having to work within defined boxes that way. So it was just, I had some general ideas and but basically you just kind of hope and pray and say, okay, I've seen his other work. I know he's going to do a great job. I have no idea what it's going to look like. And then when I got it, I was just, yeah, just blown away. I mean, we made a couple of minor little tweaks and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just, I couldn't be happier because that artwork really gets people's
It is a
attention.
gorgeous album cover.
Yeah,
It really is a gorgeous album cover.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
have the T-shirt. I have the other T-shirt with the album
Oh,
cover on
nice.
it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And we spent a lot of time trying to find the right print for the t-shirts as well for the album artwork because I had done some that were kind of like that. It was just it felt like a piece of vinyl on top of a shirt, and it's like, okay, it keeps the vibrancy, but I'm not really loving the feeling. It just feels too swishy,
Hmm.
and it felt like a lump of plastic sitting on a shirt. So when I finally found somebody here locally that would do a good print, um, it was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but it's like, you know what, it looks good, and this is what I'm gonna get behind a lot better. I'll feel a
And of
lot
course,
better.
people can buy this shirt and the other shirt on
Yeah,
your website, visionsofmorpheus.com. They
yeah,
can pick up the CD. They can pick up a digital copy of the album,
yeah. That's right.
and then we just need to get a vinyl version out there as well.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, because
Um,
it really looked pretty cool. It's like, you get the larger artwork with that, and yeah, you can do some pretty neat things, I guess, with the is it like the different emulsions that they have? You can get some different
yeah, yeah, different variants in color. Yeah, I can show you if I can grab one here
yeah,
really
some are pretty
quickly.
wild that I've seen.
I'm just gonna grab a Project Gemini album. I'm just gonna grab a random one.
Yeah.
So this is Project Gemini's albums here, and
Okay.
he has a guy that does all his artwork.
Yeah.
So all his albums have similar artwork because he has one guy who
Okay.
creates the artwork.
Yeah.
These are pressed, like I said, by Train Records,
Right.
and every one of his albums is on a different variant of vinyl.
Nice.
Beautiful pressings, and he has inserts in them. He has a download card in them.
Mm.
He has posters. He'll have a booklet with the lyrics and
Yeah.
everything. So that's something certainly you could do with vinyl, other than just having the jacket is have an inner booklet with your lyrics and so on and some more artwork.
Yeah, it was so funny because I didn't even know like there was a lot of debates like what do people even listen to anymore? It's like, yeah, I was aware of vinyl, of course, but it's like, okay, CDs, I don't know how much demand there's going to be, but we've sold more CDs than digital downloads. And it's funny because I wanted to I had this crazy idea. I wanted to try and actually make a bit of money off the release. I didn't like the idea of just putting everything out onto streaming platforms and then people go off and
Exactly.
listen to it. It's like, oh yeah, it's great. All right.
Oh,
And then,
you put the labor of love into making this album. Obviously, you
yeah,
wanted to, make some money.
yeah.
I can tell you for statistical facts that 85% of hard copy music sales last year were vinyl, and
Hmm.
15% of hard copy was CD.
Yeah,
So
that's
the market
interesting.
is there. People like physical media.
Yeah,
Physical media doesn't go away.
yeah,
Problem with streaming things is streaming things, a streaming service could go away, or a streaming service could just like stop.
yeah, exactly.
You could end up disappeared in a long queue. Most of the people, I'm a hard copy music guy. I believe in supporting a band. The best way to supporting a band is buy their music on hard copy, because streaming services pay pennies to these artists. You know,
Yeah,
they
fractions
talk
and
about this
fractions.
artist had 1 billion streams. What do we do? How much did they make off their 1 billion
I
listens?
know.
Nothing. You
Yeah,
know,
that's like the sad part. Like you have to get, I think around like I don't know, 12 to 1500 streams pays you like between $4 and $6, and it takes a lot of
exactly.
work
And
to get
whereas
that many
the
streams.
profit in a hard copy media is way, way, way
Yeah,
higher.
yeah, exactly, right. So I may, I think just for discoverability, I'll probably put it out on the streaming platforms in the new year at some point. But yeah, just kind of that initial, yeah, I wanted to create a bit of wanting rather than here's everything, and yeah, so
Yeah, true music lovers and true people. I think that certainly in the community, I'm in the vinyl community.
right,
True music. So most people I deal with in the vinyl community or that I talk to that have channels and whatnot, none of them stream really. None of them. Everybody has hard copy of one sort: CD, cassette,
yeah,
vinyl, whatever. They're music lovers really do love hard copy music. They have something they
oh,
can
sure.
hold in their hand, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
I mean, we're still trying to figure out what our demographic is. It's kind of all over the place. There's young, there's the older crowd. So there's just been a lot of stuff to be that we have to figure out, like any band, forging out for the first time.
Well, certainly, yeah.
Determine,
Progressive metal is very popular
yeah,
with all age groups. So
it
it's not
is.
like you're targeting a certain age group with your music. So that works in your favor for sure.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of getting people to know that you're there in this world,
yeah,
which isn't
yeah,
that hard.
exactly.
I mean, you got an Instagram going, you've got a Facebook going, you've got a
Yeah,
Bandcamp going. Bandcamp is a great thing, but of course
yeah,
they do take some money out of the deal. Obviously,
they do.
everybody wants that piece of the pie, but
I know. Yeah, and that was kind of like another last minute decision. It's like, yeah, should I do Bandcamp? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And then I
there's
did. Yeah, and then
so
I
many
get
great artists on Bandcamp, though. So it's a
there
good,
are.
good
Yeah,
platform.
yeah, exactly.
So
So
now maybe do we want to get the other guys to come up here as well? We can talk about the album. We can talk about songs on the album. We can talk
yeah,
about what you're going to do next. Um,
I think
and talk about are you going to be doing live? Are you touring? Are you going to get out there and play gigs as Vision of Morpheus? And your new fellow too. Your new guy.
yeah, we sorry, I'm just looking to see because I know one of the guys had
So
messaged me here.
just shout out whoever's here. Tyler, I believe it is. Tyler is Javish still here. I'll repost the link in the chat, guys. Just give me a
Okay,
second here. I'm
sure.
not used to this. I'll just invite guests, copy link, and comments.
I
And I'm
think
going to
Tyler
push.
can do audio only
That's
because
okay
he,
if you can do audio only. That's fine. If he doesn't
yeah,
want to be on camera, we can have audio
sure.
only for sure. There you go, guys. All you got to do is click on that link that I put in the chat. It'll open up in your browser, your web browser. It'll take you away from YouTube, which is what you want, because if you have YouTube going and the browser at the same time, it creates like an echo. It creates a
Yeah,
feedback. So it'll take you to your browser. Open the link in your browser and just follow the instructions. You'll put your name in. It'll ask you to allow your cam and your mic and whatnot. And you can turn the cam off if you don't want to be on cam. And come on in. I'll just watch for you and to appear. And I'll keep talking with Jeff while you do that.
yeah. So
So,
one other thing I wanted to make mention of when I was talking about Juan Coronado there, where we recorded the drums. So he actually did a guest solo on the song Medusa at the towards the end, where it's like Medusa and Perseus are fighting. So that's his solo on there.
cool. Now, yeah, songs. Let's talk about the album. Let's talk about the actual album. Let's go through the songs here. Favorite song? Your favorite song from the album? What song do you personally love the best from this album?
Medusa.
Medusa.
Yeah.
I love, I love watching the world burn. Watch the world burn. I love
Yeah.
that song. I love Ghosts. Those are the two that immediately caught me right away.
Okay.
So, what the recording of the process of the songs here? What songs came first? What was the last song you did?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So the
How did
first
you
song that
decide?
I
How did
did,
you decide on the 11 songs? Did you write more than the 11 songs? What was the? Was there an elimination? What got left on the cutting room floor?
yeah, there was one. There was actually two that got axed, and one I just thought was not really living up to. It was called Dreams and Nightmares, but it wasn't living up to the title. It had some interesting elements to it, but I also thought it was a little cliched in some parts, and just never really. I don't know. I couldn't really find a home for it. I might take pieces of it that I liked and put it on the next record. As far as the first song was Outrun the Past, and then I think the very last song was Cloak of the Night, because we didn't really have like an actual ballad. We kind of had some songs that were a little more mid tempo, but we didn't have anything where it really just kind of pulled everything back. So that was a bit of a last minute, right? I think I wrote that in probably a couple of weeks, which is record time for me. And that one, yeah, it came out pretty good. I'm fairly happy with that. Hey,
And
there he is.
we've got Tyler.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm AGK Anthony. AGK Anthony, whatever you want to call me. AGK is my professional name for photography and whatnot.
I'm familiar.
But
with that guy next to you. Looks a little weird.
so Tyler, you are what member of the band are you?
I play the drums.
He plays the drums, people. Everybody watching, you know, I have to tell everybody what you do in the band for those that don't know the band.
Just the drums. That's it. I try to sing, but it's better.
He's got some good range. I think one day we're gonna get a few screams out of him, but
We'll see.
We'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how did you and Jeff meet? Was this the Kijiji thing?
No, actually, well, this is new to me. I didn't know you could find bandmates on Kijiji too. I mean, anyways, Band Mix. I was from Band Mix. I was kind of on there for a year and so, and I got a lot of opportunities, but nothing really sparked my interest. Everything seemed kind of really simple and not out of the normal, I should say. So I accepted the challenge. I saw a challenge and I wanted to go for it. So this was kind of like the only opportunity that was like an actual band, guys ready to go. The music was already kind of pretty much made. I just got to throw in the drums. So I hopped right on that train.
And we also have Javish. Javish, am I pronouncing your name correct? Javish? Can we hear you? We haven't got no mic. Are you muted? I think Javish. You're muted, Javish. Hit the mic button. You're muted.
Oh yeah, I found it.
There you go.
There we go.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
So we have Javish, who I believe is the other guitarist in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the last child.
The last child to the band. So the November 18th gig you guys did, that was the first time you guys all played together on stage, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys did great. You guys rocked that stage. Absolutely. We had your little mini mosh pit at the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
Join that mosh pit, but
Yeah, looked like fun.
So Javish, how did you come? Was Javish also a Kijiji person?
No, I think it was Facebook, wasn't it?
Yeah, Facebook. Yes.
So did you put out like a casting call kind of thing on Facebook looking for bandmates and he replied? How did that come about?
Actually, I made a post like, "Oh, I'm a musician here. I'm available." Well, and then this guy just approached me. I was like, "What the hell is this? Let me just see. What does he want?"
Now, Tyler and Javish, were you guys in bands before Visions of Morpheus? And if so, what bands and so on?
You can.
Whichever first, Tyler, Javish, whoever wants to go first.
Okay. I had something back in high school. We were called Silting Sludge. Very weird.
Silting Sludge.
Yeah, it was kind of just a bunch of high school guys, and it was kind of mostly for fun. It didn't really go anywhere too serious. We just kind of ended up going our own separate ways. And that was my last band. I kind of just wanted to work on. I wanted to do like studio stuff. I wanted to work on my own stuff. So that was probably 6-7 years between that last time and then now that I'm in Visions of Morpheus here.
Mm-hmm.
So just the one other band.
And so how is Jeff and Tavish and the Javish and the other guys? How is it working with them? Are you guys all happy campers?
Yeah, actually,
Yes.
I was not in a band prior to this, so because I've only been living here for 2 years in Canada.
Where are you from?
Dominican Republic.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. Well, you're a fantastic guitar player. I was watching your guitar work at the live show there, and some brilliant guitar work by you. So hats off to your guitar work.
Yeah,
and Jeff, of course, Jeff was fantastic on guitar, great drumming. The band was tight. Your bass player, what's your bass player's name?
Gunner.
Gunner, that's right. Gunner, great bass player. Like a really good collection of musicians here in this band for sure. And you guys were tight. You played well together.
Yeah, I'm gonna chirp in and say, out of the guys that I have met in the past, very, very accepting, very warm. We all throw our ideas around, and everyone's comfortable. At least I can see.
So the four of you are you guys all now writing new music? Are you working on the next project yet, or are you still just trying to get this first album more out there, or have you began collabing together and started writing together?
Well, I know we did a jam at Tyler's place Friday night, which was just kind of more of a end of year celebration of getting the album done and out, getting some videos shot, and we did like some very basic sort of jamming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple little ideas that I heard in there that's like, okay, yeah, let's grab that. So
and gigging plans? Have you guys made any gigging plans? Have you booked anything yet? Are you looking at what are you looking at booking?
There's some shows coming up, but they haven't been confirmed 100%, or we're not allowed to say anything yet. So
no,
in the works. But yeah, it'll probably be closer to into March, and that sort of thing. I believe that, like I said, we still have a lot of legwork to do on just trying to get visibility and people to hear the record. And
exactly. That's why I asked you guys to come up, because I'm a big supporter of indie bands, and I like to promote, especially local Canadian ones. Obviously, I like to promote them as much as possible because indie bands, people support indie bands. Everybody watching, support indie bands, support Vision of Morpheus, help them get out there. There's so much great indie music out there that needs to be discovered. For sure.
It really is. Like, I find new bands and stuff, and you listen to their stuff, it's like, oh my God, this is so good. And then you'll see like there's maybe, 70 people have listened to it or something. It's like, oh, this is criminal, man. Like, these guys are so good.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting exposure for sure.
Yeah, it's easy to get your stuff out there. The hard part is just getting through the saturation. It's a saturated market, right? Because the technology has really brought it down, but that means that everybody can do it.
Well, there's definitely a thirst for metal and progressive metal in Toronto. I went to a number of metal concerts this year in Toronto, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So there's definitely an appetite for metal here in Toronto, and I know lots of metal lovers in the vinyl community for sure. Tons of metal lovers. So you guys can get out there. We just have to help you get out there.
Yeah, we got to build up. Like, we have our best audiences in the Durham region, so we have to build up our Toronto audience. And we had played a couple of shows at the Rock Pile last year.
Now the Rock Pile is literally maybe 15 minutes from me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you hit the Rock Pile again, I'll be there for sure.
All right, hold you to it.
I will be. I loved your first gig. I'll definitely be back. Next time you guys play, wherever you play in the GTA area, as long as it's, Oshawa was a drive. That day I came out to Oshawa to see you guys. There was a big accident on the 401, and it took forever. It literally took like 2 hours to get out there. It took me 40 minutes to get home and 2 hours to get out there. I just got there in time for the show. Like,
yeah.
At least you had a CD to listen to on the way home.
Exactly. And I brought some friends with me who all loved the show as well.
Yeah.
So that was great. The future of the band. Well, where are you guys going? I know you got music videos. Are you all in the music videos? When can we see the next music video come out? I saw on Instagram you guys were filming one. How did that go? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was good. We just did it at this warehouse out near the airport. I wanted something kind of, grungy looking sort of thing. So I have a kind of a first version draft of the edit done. I've got to work on another one.
Who filmed the video?
It's for Catharsis. And actually we did Power 7 as well, because like we're here now. Let's just bang this, this one out as well. It was just instrumental, a couple of minutes long.
The guy that did Arson, I can't remember his last name.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't remember his last name either. But we, a really good cameraman that I found on Kijiji.
I was going to say a Kijiji cameraman too.
Yeah, phenomenal, incredibly fair with his rates. Like, oh my God, he's a super nice guy.
Did you have a set or anything, or was it basically the band in the warehouse kind of vibe? Or
not really a set. We just he set up all the various lighting to make the drab space look more interesting, and then he was doing all this crazy camera work, and he's got I think it's called like a gimbal. Anyways, it's not like a
gimbal. Yes,
it gives effect of a steady cam, but it wasn't a steady cam. Really.
Yeah, gimbals are kind of popular. They're a poor man. They're a poor man's steady cam, basically.
Right. So he was running all around because I showed him some other sample videos, right? It's like, I like this kind of circular motion because it kind of works with the riff and the song and everything. So yeah, we gave him a good workout that day. I think he lost probably 20 pounds.
I thought the roof was leaking from the rain, but it wasn't rain.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go around the clock here and ask you guys your favorite bands and what do you listen to? Who are your favorite bands? So I'll start with Jeff. Jeff, your favorite 2 or 3 of your favorite bands and your favorite genre of music, or do you have one?
I do have one. But actually, my taste is really wide. The favorite band, so I can say Dream Theater, of course.
Okay.
Right.
And which you guys played a Dream Theater song at the show.
Yeah, we did. Also Marty Friedman as a solo artist.
I don't know that artist. What sort of music is that?
He used to play with Megadeth before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
The guy with the curly long hair.
Yeah. So
also,
you're a metal guy. You're a metal guy mainly.
Yeah, mainly. Yeah. But in the same thing, I like Paco de Lucia.
Yes.
He's a very famous guitarist from the 70s.
Yes.
Spanish, by the way.
Yep.
And of course, I like Beck and all this stuff.
Okay, and Tyler, who are you into? Bands you like?
Well, I gotta say, it's been between Tool, Dream Theater, and Avenged Sevenfold. I've been a diehard Avenged Sevenfold fan since almost I was born, since I could listen to music. The drummer there kind of got me into the drums.
I was gonna say, where did you get into the drums? What inspired you to play the drums?
It was definitely Avenged Sevenfold and the drummer from that, because some of the stuff that he came up with on those albums, like, I just don't know where it came from, and it's so out there and different, but it fits so well with everything that they were doing. So when he passed away, that was obviously upsetting. But when Beanie left Dream Theater to go and fill in for the drummer for Avenged Sevenfold, that's kind of where my Dream Theater started to come into play, because I love that band, and now I got the drummer from that band playing in my favorite band, so it's like, oh, here we go. And then Tool's a whole other story. That's just
Did you go see Tool when they're in Toronto?
I did. Yeah, I went and saw them the other week.
Which night did you go?
I think it was the Tuesday.
The second night.
Yeah, I think that was the second night.
I went. I was there as well.
On the second night.
Yeah, I was there as well.
Yeah, that was a great show. I've never seen Tool before. Always wanted to, and I'm definitely gonna.
Very trippy visuals.
Yes, and I wasn't even smoking anything.
Yeah, I think if you had been smoking anything, that the visuals would even be more trippy. That's for sure. The only thing that I always find kind of weird with Tool though is here you have the you have the bassist on one side, you have the guitarist, you have the drummer up on the pedestal, and then you have the vocalist on his little platform to the side of the drums with no spotlight on him ever. He's just this dark figure going like this for the whole show, and you never see him. It's unusual. It's very unusual.
Maybe he wants to just make it more about the music or something.
Yeah, well, they say that he wants his bandmates to get the spotlight. He doesn't like being in the spotlight. I think the only time he really was kind of in the spotlight was when Alex came out from Rush, and he went to greet him and thank him and so on. And when he came on to tell everybody to turn off their phones, that was the only time we saw him.
That was a great time. Well, he's also got I think he's got two other bands or one other band, A Perfect Circle, I think. Mm-hmm. So I think in those bands, he's more upfront about it.
Yeah.
He's kind of just in the back.
So, and Jeff, your bands, your favorite artists.
Yeah, I would say, of course, Dream Theater, got definitely those guys, they know a thing or two. I would also say Symphony X, Pagan's Mind. I have their live DVD from the last time that they did a show, I think at Prague Power US, and I love their arrangements, and the Symphony X stuff is just mind blowing. I even remember going to see one of their concerts. Well, I think I've seen them 3 times now, but the one time I was walking in, I think I was concerned that I was late. So I was walking in, it's like, oh, are they just playing their music on a over the PA on a CD player or something like that? It's not, it sounds really too good. And it's like, nope, that's actually the band playing. Holy shit. Yeah, it was flawless. It's just incredible.
That's really great. So it's kind of Dream Theater is kind of your guys'
for
central
sure.
kind of thing that you guys all vibe together on is the Dream Theater.
Well, they kind of started this whole thing, right? The modern prog. There's because some people, when you say progressive, they just think of the 70s stuff and guys in shiny capes and stuff like that. And then they kind of started the more modern movement. And so yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for them, I'm not sure what the music scene would look like today. But
so have you all seen Dream Theater live?
Oh yeah, more times than I can count.
Javish has now. Javish, you've only been here. How many? What did you say? A couple of years you've been here?
Yeah. I haven't yet. Eventually, I will.
And you came from Dominican, you said, right?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Any band? Do bands get down there? The big bands get down there? Do they tour down in Dominican? Did you see many bands when you lived there, or?
Nope. It's a shame, but yeah, so this kind of music is not so popular down there.
So how did you then discover this music? How did you get into this music? If it's not so popular there, how did you discover it, get into it? What's got you on the guitar? How did you learn to play guitar? Like, what got you going?
Okay, even though this type of music is not so popular over there is a selective group of people, or selected, I can say, that they tend to listen to this kind of music over there. And the group has grown a little bit more now. But then it started with me trying to learn guitar. So, and most of my friends in high school.
How long have you been playing guitar for?
22 years.
Wow. That you don't look that old to have been playing guitar for 22 years. That came out of left field. Damn. I thought you were just a little young whippersnapper.
Yeah. Even I didn't know. I had no idea.
We're learning stuff here today, folks.
That's right. Yeah. Let's learn about each other.
Damn.
Indeed. Yeah. So that's how I started. So I basically learned on my own, but at first, and then
Self-taught. Never took
yeah,
a single guitar lesson at all ever.
now after 1 year of learning alone, I went with a private professor teacher, and I learned with him for 5 or 6 more months, and then I continue on my own. So I read books, I watched VHS.
Where it is.
Yeah, no internet back then, huh?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, there
were they
was.
like guitar instruction VHS tapes?
Yeah. For example, I got the rock discipline from Javish, so that I watched it like 1,000 times, maybe or more. So basically, this is how I learned.
And self-taught on drums, I take it, right? Self-taught on drums.
Yeah, for the most part. I did lessons when I first started for a few months because I just wanted to play double bass. That's it. I'm just teaching how to do double bass. So we kind of just worked out a few things, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I need to learn a lot more than just double bass, even though it sounds really cool. So I took probably like 10 or 12 lessons just to get some basic rhythms down, and then I just self-taught the whole way.
So do you still play the bass? Because you said you played double bass. Do you still play the bass?
Double bass drums.
Oh, double bass drums. I thought you meant like bass guitar double bass.
I always loved rumble, and that's kind of what, like, I just want to do that. That's all I want to do is that rumble. And then, well, I got fully into the rest of the kit, as you can see.
So now your kit gets bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on. Do you keep adding drums to the kit?
Yes, and there's more drums too to be had that are hidden somewhere else.
What else do you want to add to your kit? Do you want to have a big gong behind you? Do you want to add
I was gonna say gong.
a big gong behind you, or maybe some synth drums, like electronic drum added on there somewhere?
I have an Elisa's kit that I have separately, and I've thought about incorporating it into my kit for reasons, I can start and stop backing tracks, or I can add bass drop sounds. I could even add a gong sound into that if I wanted to. So that is my next step, is to add some electrical components to my kit, because I feel I have enough acoustic components now.
So how many components is in your kit currently, approximately?
Well, we can take a look right here real quick.
Oh, okay, we're gonna have a look at his kit, folks. You got it set up over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 3 floor toms, 3 mounted toms, snare drum.
Cool. Eventually, you got to build that kit all the way around you, and then you can be like Neil Peart.
Oh yeah, there's room if I move it out for the electric parts. You know what I mean?
There's a question for the three. Here's a question for the three of you. Favorite? We'll start with Javish. Your favorite guitarist of all time. Since you're a guitarist, your favorite guitarist of all time.
Joseph Trani.
Joseph Trani. Jeff, your favorite guitarist of all time, because you're a guitarist as well, and vocalist. Your favorite vocalist as well, because you're vocalist.
Oh boy, I'm probably still going to be into the Symphony X camp on that one. So yeah, it's going to be Michael Romeo on guitar, and then well, probably I can't really sing all that much like Russell from Symphony X. He has this really amazing grit, but yeah, I would think between him and the guy from Camelot.
From Camelot. Oh.
Yeah.
And Tyler, your favorite drummer of all time? Being a drummer.
Probably Danny Carey or Neil Peart.
There you go.
They're
good choices.
They both blow my mind. So
yeah, well, Neil, there's not too many people in the world, I think, that can touch Neil.
Yeah.
Just in sheer talent.
Yeah.
Great loss when we lost Neil. Great loss.
But yeah, that was the one thing when I knew I was going to be doing this stuff, as I'm a huge fan of double kick, and I always wanted to be in a band where there was a lot of double kick. So it was like the universe just guided me to Tyler.
So did you guys audition? You had to go. Did you audition, Jeff, being the creator of Visions Morpheus? Did you audition other people
Yep.
for the band? You guys all went and auditioned, or how did the process work?
Yeah, we held auditions. I guess we got lucky with some of our auditions because we would get people that were already pretty darn good, and it was just a matter of you didn't really think that they were going to struggle with the material, though some did, but it was when I think the biggest thing, like we tried a few times to bring in a keyboard player because I always, I've always liked the keyboard element, and you can do so much expressively with it, and it just really adds to shaping the whole sound, right?
I was going to say, is there any thoughts of adding a
Yeah, we
keyboardist
tried a few
to
times,
the
man.
band?
We had two guys that came out, but they weren't really experienced enough to play this stuff. And then there was another guy who would definitely have fit the bill, but schedule just never lined up with when we would practice, and he was not available when we were, or vice versa. But he could play the stuff, and he had a good stage presence. It's tough because when you're playing smaller clubs starting out, there's not really a whole lot of room on stage. Like, I struggled to think where we would have put a keyboard player at that last gig, right? And at most shows. So for now, it's kind of working. But when you're playing to those backing tracks, some people think that it's easy, but it is not when you're doing our type of material. If you're doing just 4/4 stuff, then yeah, it's much
Yeah,
easier.
exactly. Yeah.
But with this, man, if you miss one little cue,
I know it's very complex material.
yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, where are we now? Yeah, it's
Did you, and that, now that was the first, how much practice did you guys get in before that first gig?
like the show opener as like with this latest grouping, or you mean our
Yeah,
very
like when you did your first gig there in Oshawa, did you guys get a lot
yeah.
of
Yeah, I guess
practice
we had a
in?
few
Were
months.
you practicing a few weeks, months? How long
Yeah,
before
we
you
had a few months, but we
felt
would
ready
practice.
before to go out in front of the public?
Yeah, like we would practice once a week, and then as the show got closer, we practice a couple of times that week, and then just try to work on some things. I mean, there was still stuff that we didn't get a chance to really address as much, but a lot of that was because of the rewrites that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
As the album was coming out, and there just wasn't enough time for us to kind of get everybody totally um, lined up with everything. But yeah, now that we've got more of a space before the next gig, then it'll be a lot better.
Do you have a date for your next gig yet, or is that still secret?
Yeah, that's still.
It's still secret. Everybody just have to keep an eye on their Instagram and their Facebook and everything,
Yeah,
and
right.
we will find out when their next gig is.
Yeah, exactly. We're on Facebook, the Instagram. We also we have a newsletter,
visionofmorpheus.com.
visionsofmorpheus.com. Yeah, so yeah.
Now, these auditions, were the auditions virtual, or were they all live auditions?
Live auditions. So you can see, because the other part of being in a band is really how everybody gels, and
Exactly.
want to make sure like there's no egos in the band. Like everybody's like totally chill. We're not
That's
into
good.
one-upmanship and everything else. So yeah, it's a good chemistry.
There's a good vibe going on with all you guys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We can be
Always.
free with each other. Yeah.
That's the number one thing in a great band, is having a good vibe and having a good time. That's how you last as a band together for a long time. As you got to be friends and just enjoy each other's company, enjoy playing together. Too many bands, a lot of these big bands that have these splits, it's because everybody their head gets too big, too many big heads to fit in the same room, and
I know.
and then splits start to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
So,
It's true.
I think with the next album, like I say, I do want to open up the writing process a bit more. And
Yeah, I think with bands, just my observation with bands, I think bands where everybody contributes just makes them all feel more part of the band. When there's, there are some bands, Beatles, Lennon and McCartney, whatever, there are bands that somebody just did all the writing, but I think
like Nightwish is that way. I think Camelot is that way, and
exactly.
Scar Symmetry.
So you like you? I take it because you mentioned Night Witch and Camelot. I take it you like a lot of symphonic metal yourself.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah, me
I've
me
always
too.
been
I love symphonic metal.
interested.
I discovered
Yeah.
symphonic metal only about 10 years or so ago, and
Okay.
absolutely adore it now. I just absolutely adore it. Any
Yeah,
chance of symphonic metal coming to Toronto, I'm there. Because
I know. Yeah, it's such a nice big
it's
town.
kind of a niche thing here in Canada. It's not well known in Canada because most of the symphonic metal bands are, of course, from Amsterdam and the Netherlands, and that part of Europe is where the majority of symphonic metal kind of
I know.
is
Yeah.
pumping out of. But I love it. I love it. I think it's just a great marriage of music styles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have
That,
you
that's
thought have you thought on your next album of getting in a little bit of symphonic metal kind of sounding as opposed to, or you want to keep it progressive metal the whole time?
I think it'll always be a mix. I kind of look at our stuff now as I have symphonic elements brought into it.
Definitely symphonic elements in there, yeah.
Yeah, like there's already stuff like that on like Through Fire and Flame is very much in that wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, certainly bringing a keyboardist in would definitely pump more, be easier to pump more of a symphonic element into the band. Somebody
Yeah, and
really experienced with keyboards.
Yeah.
yeah, that's one reason I wanted to work with a keyboard player as well because I have my limitations. I can get some stuff pretty close and then do some massaging, right, programmatically, but just doing other things, just like piano interludes or whatever else that it is, that's not something that I possess the skills for. But an actual keyboard player could do a really good job of just really embellishing and doing a lot more and kind of kicking things up a notch. But we're definitely going to be doing, now that we have Javish with us, I want to do some more like guitar duels and stuff like that. Just do more harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
The next album is going to be about AI. It's obviously a pretty hot topic these
Is
days.
it going to be like a conceptual album, or?
Yeah, I think I want to do a concept album, but I'm going to try and not to. I don't want to make it into like some 2 hour monstrosity. I don't really have that in me. And that's the thing with the whole genre of progressive. I've always been sort of trying to walk the balance between making the songs approachable, so there's some regular structure to it
Mm-hmm.
that people can kind of understand and you know make sense of, and then also having those progressive elements in there. So it's just trying to offer both of those sides of the equation, I think.
Now I know I asked Jeff his favorite songs from this album, so I'm going to ask Tyler now that he's here. What's your favorite track on this album, or tracks, plural?
I'm gonna say it is Medusa and Beyond.
Okay. So we have two votes for Medusa now.
Yeah. Ghost is a
Two
third, honestly. Ghost is really close. But yeah, Beyond really hits home for me. That was always one of my favorites. The bass and the intro, how it starts, it's just it feels full bodied to me.
Mm-hmm.
Very mellow, but then it also punches you good with that bass.
And Javish, do you have what's your favorite track from this album?
Watch the World Burn.
Yeah, it's like me. I love Watch the World Burn. So
Yeah.
was it tough for you coming in, Javish, to you had to you were coming in, you weren't involved in the creation of the album, so did you find it tough to pick up the album, to learn the album, to get to know the album before you could perform it? Like you weren't in the
Actually,
creative process of it.
yeah. So, to some extent, I can say it was a little difficult because this gentleman over here, I'm not gonna say his name, he writes this songs in a particular way, like a little complicated.
No.
And then but I believe I picked it up, and not very fast as I wish, but yeah. So I
Uh,
listened to the album
we
and
threw
asked
a
a lot of
lot of
questions.
Yeah, we threw a lot of stuff at you in a short period of time. I think you did really good. I think you did better than yeah. than a lot of us were certainly expecting, given the time that was left for before the gig.
Yeah, like at what point did you? How long before? When did you join the band before that gig? How long had you been in the band?
4 or 5 months, maybe.
Yeah, was it that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's probably a long
4 to
time
5.
just, yeah, like you learned a few songs for the audition, and then I think there was just a lot of learning time. So we would kind of give you a few weeks, okay, get some more stuff
Yeah.
on your belt before coming back out, because you need to spend the time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made a lot of progress in those months for that show for sure, especially Javish here. So
Yeah, you were saying, I think Jeff, you said that you guys were practicing what, like once a week or more than that, or?
As it got closer to the show, we're practicing a few times a week, and just having, because I mean, with a lot of this stuff, you just have to learn other people's cues, right? There's learning your parts, but then you start to expect to say, okay, I hear this drum part, so I know that we're synced up here now, or when I hear this bass note, okay, yeah, so just those little things, and you might not pay attention to them when you're learning the song, but when you're playing them with everybody else, then you really depend on those cues.
And I had a question and I forgot what my question was. Give me a second here. I just train of thought just went out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys something. What the heck was I going to ask you? I forgot now.
I mean, I prefer James Reddy or Heineken.
Okay, yeah. Favorite? Are you guys beer drinkers, booze drinkers?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Beer or booze? Beer or booze?
Yeah.
Or both?
Beer and wine.
Beer and wine.
Cognac.
I know. I remember what I was going to ask you. The gig. Why did you choose Oshawa? I gather it's because that Jeff, I take it, live out there.
Yeah. So I live in Oshawa, and it was just kind of a good central place to have our fans come in from the east and the west end. But I mean, most of the people that follow us are definitely out in more in the Durham region.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of made more sense for kind of our strongest outing. And with a lot of places now, you have to pay to play there.
And
Whiskey John's. How did you decide on that?
Yeah, it was just like we'll just we'll just take the door. You just kind of let us invade your space. We'll take the door and let's see how that works. It was a good enough size of a place that we thought, if we have a good turnout, then that'll work out well.
And you're happy with the turnout, and you're happy with how that whole night went?
Yeah, it was a fantastic turnout, far more than I thought there was going to be there. There was a lot of logistics that day, so it was an incredibly long, stressful day with all the stuff that we were doing. It was our first time doing, like, getting all this merch together. So there was all that stuff. I mean, you just kind of walk in and say, oh, they have a merch booth, but there was all the work that goes into who's gonna, help run that. So it's like, my girlfriend is helping out on that. Tyler's mom's helping out on that. So we just had a lot of people that were
helping out. Well, merch is important with bands. I mean, a lot of money in selling merch.
Yeah, that's really where the money is these days, right?
It is. That's absolutely. It's selling merch and hard copy music, but merch makes more money even than hard copy music does.
Yeah,
but I know it was a tight space because with Chronicles of Rush there and you guys there wasn't a lot of room to move. And then when Chronicles of Rush finished, it was kind of hard to get rid of the equipment.
It was. We knew we were going to have a lot of logistical nightmares. So I mean, usually when you go to see a band, either everybody uses the same kit or they have a smaller pared down kit for the opener. But because we're giving them, a good slice of time as well, and it's like it's a Rush tribute, man. You gotta do it right. So
you guys almost had equal stage time. I think your show ran about 19 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, and theirs ran about, I think it was about an hour and a quarter or something. Their show ran,
Yeah, that
which is
sounds-
which is a fair chunk of change for an opening act to run that
Oh yeah.
long.
Well, again, we knew that people would really enjoy it. They're a great band, you know, and it just seemed to make more sense. And but that was the other, you know,
Yeah, they
part.
really do have their Rush nailed. They really do
Yeah,
have it nailed.
yeah.
The
And they have-
drummer is incredible. Everybody just does such a great job in that band.
Very
Oh, yeah.
talented,
Yeah.
dedicated.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it was nice
So
to
did
be able
you
to
know
have,
these
you know,
guys? Had you met these guys before you had them said, "Hey, we want you to open for our show"? How did you
No.
find them?
They're friend of our bass player Gunnar. He said,
Oh,
I know this Rush band. I'll see if they're interested in splitting the night with us." And it's like, yeah, well, that'd be perfect. I didn't think they'd actually say yes because they like, who the hell are we, right?
well, yeah, I have to definitely thank them for doing the gig, because I might never have found you guys, you know,
Yeah,
if
right.
it hadn't gone, if Ralph hadn't called me and says we're doing a gig opening for this band,
Yeah.
and he knows I love the progressive metal and whatnot, so just
Mhm.
for me it was perfect. And as soon as he told me about the gig, I looked you guys up and listened to you guys on Bandcamp, and I was like, yeah, I'm there. I'm digging this. This is going to be a good show.
Nice.
So I guess we've
Yeah.
talked about 90 minutes here. So I guess we should start to wrap things up. I want to thank all you guys for coming out. I hope this video will stay up on my channel, so it will get views over time. People will drop by hopefully and watch it and support this indie band, guys. Support all indie bands, not just Visions of Morpheus, but support all your local or international indie bands. Help them get out there. Check out visionofmorpheus.com. They're on Bandcamp. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. Check them out. Follow them. Give them a like. Everything. Go check out their YouTube channel too. You have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What do you know when your next music video is dropping yet? Do you have any idea when you're going to drop that one?
No. Soon.
So sometime. Watch for it, guys. Watch for the
Yeah.
next video.
It'll be very soon. Yeah, it'll be
very
soon.
soon. In 2024, there'll be a music video. Will it be in 2023? You still have time.
Yeah, I don't want to commit. Maybe.
Don't worry.
A definite maybe.
A
And
definite
Christmas is
maybe.
coming, so things
Okay.
are a little hectic, but
There'll be
I want to get it out there soon.
sorry.
The
Jeff.
last words. Let's have some last words from everybody. Last word. Anything you'd like to say, Javish? Anything in the world you'd like to say? Now's your chance to forever speak or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, sure. Now to the people out there, just ask them to support this band. So we are offering a very good material out there for you guys to enjoy, and anything you can do for us is more than welcome.
Right on. And Tyler, what are your last words from Tyler?
Well, I just want to say, yeah, I appreciate everyone who came to listen. I appreciate everyone who came to our shows and supported our album. And I hope to see you guys in the future. Honestly, I think it's going to be a great year. So let's get some content out, and hopefully we'll see you then.
Perfect. And Jeff, last words from the man himself, Jeff.
Yeah, we'll just keep trying to kind of up our game, make things a little more interesting, and can't wait to share some more stuff with everybody in 2024. And hopefully, it won't take another 2.5 years to write the next album. I seriously don't think it will.
And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Visions of Morpheus, for being here. I love your guys' music, and everybody out there watching today. As I always say, rock and roll.
Good night and dream well.